Okay, so this is kind of how we left our document last time. I just want to review what we're going to be doing here. Kind of moving a couple things here, but if we zoom in on our rough draft, you can see there's one circle here, another circle on top of that, and then another circle on top of that. So you could look at it as being 3 circles stacked. And this circle, the second circle, the middle circle, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is divided up into 8 segments. So we're going to have to divide up a circle basically into 8 segments. So I'm going to move this Montana shape off of the canvas for now, just to get it out of the way. I'm going to be working with this circle, and I'm going to take the stroke color here, or the outline, and I'm going to swap it into the fill. And if you click on the fill, you can bring that to the top. And I'm going to make this more of like a kind of a muddy green color. So here we go. We have this filled in now, as you can see, the fill color. And if we come over here to the layers panel, we can open that up, and let's create another layer. And in this layer, we're going to be working in this layer right now. So make sure it's highlighted and get to the line tool. And we're going to click, oops, let's see, click and drag with the line tool, push shift, make sure it extends outside. So we're holding shift down the whole time. We're dragging to create our line. And there's our line tool. As you can see, it's not really totally, there we go. If I move it, it comes down to the center. You can see that pink text comes up. So that's good. And then if we push the rotate tool, and then make sure while that's selected, push option and click on this anchor point right here. And then if we put 360 in here and divide it by 8, and then push copy, that'll create another line. See, this is the original line. It copied and created another line. 360, which is 40, divided by 8, which is 45, which it was already kind of auto-filled in there when I did it. But when you first do it for the first time, you would have to do 360 divided by 8. You'd use the backslash tool to do that. So I got my new copy. And if I just do Command D, it'll just keep creating that 45 degree until, if you click and drag, you can see all of them are there. See? And so let's bring out our color. I'm not quite sure what happened with that. So I'm going to go into Window and go to Color. And I'm going to click on the Shape Builder tool. Actually, I'm going to select a green color maybe. Let's see, am I on the right? Window, Color. So we're going to go to the Shape Builder tool, which is over here. It's kind of got 2 circles stacked on each other, kind of with some dots and I don't know, some sort of a selection tool there. Is this the right one? So if we click on that and then click on this, I should be able to change the colors. So I'm selecting, I have an orange, change that. Selecting blue, I have that. Maybe a pink, red, yellow, and maybe like a sage green, something. So as you can see, we have a circle that now is, we can actually grab these and move them out if we wanted to. It's kind of a complicated thing, but basically you draw a circle, you use the line tool, you copy and paste the line tool with Command D after you get the 45 degree angle, or you can just do 360 divided by, if you wanted 5 segments, you do divided by 5. But I wanted 8, so I did divided by 8, which actually happens to be 45, and then I just did Command D all the way around, making sure that we were working in, 2 separate layers here, and then we would use the shape tool. So Shape Builder tool to select those shapes. So I don't really need this layer anymore, so I can actually trash it. And these aren't the colors that I'm going to be using, but it's fine for now to fill it in with that. So think of that as that middle circle. And then now I'll just put a circle over the top. I'll push Shift and drag. And that's filled in with blue or green. I think I'll put in like maybe a lighter green so it sticks out more. And we'll just kind of try and get this centered. Maybe I'll grab everything underneath of this circle by clicking and dragging. And then I can select everything. And then I can push Shift. And it won't have that circle underneath selected. And then do Command G or Object Group. So this is going to be grouped together now. And the reason I did that was so that I can grab this circle and this group of this circle, which is now a group. And I'm just going to horizontally align these vertically align and horizontally align these so that they're perfectly lined up, perfectly stacked. So this is all one chunk right now, but I can always ungroup it if I want to. I just did a Command Z. And then this is over the top. That makes sense. So we have that, we have this built, and now we need to do another stacked underneath, which I'm going to actually copy and paste this grouped object, and I'm just going to rotate it manually by coming out to the side until this little arrow comes up, and I'll just rotate it like maybe like that, and I'll make it bigger. So I'll do this free transform tool over here, and let's just click and drag from the corner, push Shift, hold Shift down as you do it. And then we'll just kind of, now we have a big copy of that. Come over here and grab this and select off of it. Maybe select that back on, and then do Object, Arrange, Send Backward. Object, Arrange, Send Backward. So now, as you can see, we have 3 circles. It's kind of confusing visually right now, but we can do this alignment thing again so that we get them perfectly aligned. I like how this line is almost basically completely down the center. It's not perfect, so I mean I could always grab it and adjust it just to try and get it a little bit closer to being perfect. That looks pretty good. And we can always change the colors later. I'm just kind of trying to get the basic thing built. Here's the Montana shape. I guess I'll shift and pull down Shift and make it a little bit smaller. Oops, I just lost it. So we need to do Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. Bring to Front. So now that won't get lost underneath the layers there. Push Shift, bring it down. And we could construct this in a way where each one of these things is on its own layer. So this big circle could be on its own layer. This circle could be, once you click on an object, you can see this, you can actually grab that object and move it into the other layer. And then we'll have to do, have to move it out of the way. So we want this one in the next layer. Move that out of the way. And then we'll put the Montana in the next layer. Oh, we got to make sure Montana's selected though. We'll grab that out of here and put it in its own layer. So that's in its own layer. This circle's in its own layer. This circle is in its own layer. You can toggle the eyeballs, and this circle's in its own layer, along with our sketch here. But so we can actually stack these back up. Grab them all and then do our little align deal to make sure they're perfectly aligned, and we can just kind of visually align this with the rest of everything else. So I guess that's looking pretty good. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Just accidentally grabbed the wrong thing. I'm trying to grab the Montana shape here. Okay. So that's kind of what we're working with. I might fill this in white just because it seems like it would pop off nicely. And then we kind of need these extra little things to come off, right? So I was kind of thinking I could just take this and copy the whole thing, move it off to the side so we can dissect it. So if I have this selected, I can do Object Ungroup, and that'll actually ungroup our objects here. I'm just going to take one slice of this pie here, and I'm going to change the color on it too, just so that I can keep track of it. And maybe this should be on its own layer, so maybe once I pick my color, I'll create a layer for this. I think it'll probably go underneath, let's see, let's move the layer to underneath this green layer, and then once I have this selected, we'll move this up into that new layer that we created so you can see it in there. And here we go. Maybe just kind of rotate it. I probably didn't need to rotate it from where it was originally, but okay, that's looking pretty good. Now we can kind of make it even bigger. I think maybe it needs to be quite a bit bigger actually. So we can also grab this tool and drag from, shift and drag from the corner. Maybe something like that would be good. What's that? I'm gonna make sure these two shapes are kind of the same size and everything. That's looking pretty good. So if I do a Command C, Command V, I can make a copy of this same shape, and then I can do Object, Transform, Reflect, and horizontally, I want to reflect it horizontally, so that's on the right thing. Push OK, see how that reflected it. And then we can kind of just try and line it up visually. I don't know, I think that seems pretty good. So these can be, this could be a different color maybe. I'm kind of running out of colors to use. Okay, so I might just leave it at that. I wonder what happened to our Montana shape though. Did we lose that? Must have. Oh, it's somewhere in there. It's just kind of, let's see. Oh, that got grouped in with this layer. I'll just move it to its own layer here, and then we'll have to move this layer up because it's supposed to be all the way at the top. And then I'm going to move this back over. So we can reselect everything, try and center everything. So that's looking pretty good. So in the next video, I guess we can start adding into each of these shapes. I was going to do at least one illustration type thing here and one here. So we'll do that in the next video.